Good morning. Welcome to another edition of the Sunday Rise. And this is the Sideline Junkies Podcast Network in conjunction with Clear Production Sports. They call me the Boss BJ. Bottom of the screen, no Diddy, the Midnight Rider, and the show's host. Why are we set up like this? The show's host, the big guy KG. Good morning, fellas. How are y'all?
Good morning.
Good morning.
We all set up wrong. I'm not going to do it now because we on limited time. I'm about to go with my distinguished gentleman ran on the big guy KG, so I ain't going to do it this morning. But
I'm just happy that I don't have beef with Kendrick Lamar. That's what I'm really happiest about in my life. Because Meet the Grams and Not Like Us last night. Actually, you know what? I wasn't going to do this, but I'm going to do it. Excuse me for a second. Give me 2 minutes. Lord, we're going to pray for the young man Aubrey today because he's been eviscerated. He's been annihilated. He's been mutilated by this young man, Kendrick. I swear to you, Lord. Now, if you can just reach out your helping hand, Lord, and help this young fella. Give him the graces and the mercies and all the things he needs, Lord. And we pray this in your name, Lord. Amen. All right, we're good. Sorry.
I'm going to ask a question about that. What made Drake think he could go with people like that? Dog, you're a pop star. You're not a rapper. Kendrick is a lyricist. You see when J. Cole took himself out of that, what that meant. J. Cole
I swear to you, I think
ball with anybody. But J. Cole's like, yo, that's my boy. I'm not going to do that.
I think this is the first time in rap history we're going to have, instead of a single diss track, we're going to have a mixtape of the same person. He's going to make a whole album out of this. We're already on the first time. Huh?
I don't think that's the first time.
Oh, okay. Well, it's going to be the first time in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, you've lived through LL Cool J and Kool Moe D. You've lived through Nas and Jay-Z.
I got you.
You know, it's always some shot.
This history lesson is presented to you by the Sideline Junkies Podcast Network.
Oh, back in my day. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, let's go ahead and get this thing started. Let's start over in the East. The NBA Eastern Conference Finals are set.
Semifinals.
I'm sorry. Semis. Fellas.
They're not set yet.
Well, you got one more game. You got Game 7 of the Magic and the Cavaliers, which I said was the best one going. That thing went 7 because they are battling. It's like something we're going to talk about later. It's like a boxing match. Every time one team throws a punch, the other team counterpunches. It's just like they stand in the middle of the ring brawling like flyweights. I love it.
You know what? I think you're giving this series too much credit, man. I think it's just two teams that just they like that. We always talk about it. You know how Luther's curl didn't just curl right? Like these two teams just don't curl right. So that's the only reason why this ain't over. It's like they can get you they get to the point. They like Moses. They get you to the point, but they can't get you to the promised land. So fortunately for one of them will get there. But the problem is I just think they're too much alike. Like they're too inconsistent. And I think their inconsistencies show. And really, I don't even have a pick for today. I think the team that just gets out of its own way is the team that's going to win this ball game.
This is you standing in a grocery aisle and trying to decide between your favorite strawberry jelly that's $4.05 and the other one's $3.98. And you're like, that's my favorite though, but the other one's only $3.98. I can save a couple cents. That's what these teams are. But here's the second thing. Boston will prove how good this series is. Whoever goes plays Boston will prove if they take Boston any type of distance or give Boston issues, then now you can really like everybody else does with going back. You can go back and be like, that's the series. That was the series right there. And nobody's watching this crap. I don't want to say crap, but nobody's watching. They should be. I mean, because I have to give the NBA credit. This has been an entertaining NBA playoffs.
See, I have to disagree with you, gentlemen, because I call this one of the best series because you have some young dudes in there. What's his name? Pablo Banchero.
Mm-hmm.
Like this dude played. He was a lottery pick, and you're in the playoffs. You got to. I look at this as like this. You always see when the gears start turning and the next stars are coming up. This is one of those things where you think. Well, I'm thinking like, okay, the next crop is coming in of stars that we're going to be watching for the next 10 to 15 years. And I think he's one. I think Donovan Mitchell has been so underrated over the last few years because this dude, he gets after it. Donovan Mitchell is a beast, man. And he is putting Cleveland on their back. And I think it may not be true, but Cleveland's like LeBron who?
Oh, they're definitely not LeBron who. But I got you. I feel you.
Before LeBron, Cleveland's biggest star was what? Craig Elo? Brad Daugherty?
Yeah, they still not saying LeBron who though.
Right.
Okay, maybe that's an overreaction. I'll give you that.
No, you good. We love the hyperbole, baby.
It's not reaching that proportion, but you have yourself a bona fide star, and you have a team that's loved by the city for real. You know, you haven't had that since LeBron left. That's what I mean.
And I struggle to agree with you only because I listen to Cleveland radio, and
yeah, you do.
Like right now, Donovan Mitchell is kind of, for some people, he's not quite Brad Beal, but he's getting into dangerous territory in that city and I got to preface how I say this. So their issue is he and Darius Garland together, because they're two small guards. Even though they work defensively, it's going to be a struggle when they play certain teams, right? Mm. The other reason they think it's a struggle is because they can't stop anybody from a guard level. So it becomes the issue of we got to kind of outscore you. And what's his name? Strauss has been good in moments, and he's been wildly inconsistent. So it's just kind of a struggle for that team. The bigs are those guys that they'll get you 12 points, but they can't generate their 12 points. Their 12 points have to come off of lobs, putbacks, and things of that nature. You can't kick it down to Evan Mobley. You can't kick it down to Jared Allen and tell them, hey, get me a bucket. So that's where I think this team is a struggle. And I think when you said Boston and how long it takes Boston to get rid of this team, I almost want to disagree with you on that, because Boston in the playoffs seems at certain times to get disinterested, and they allow teams to stick around longer than they should. Like for some reason, they'll go 12 rounds with somebody that they should have knocked out in the 4th or the 5th round. I don't know if you saw what I did there, but I did something.
I got you. Well, we'll see. Once today hits, we'll be able to talk about that a little bit on Tuesday. We'll talk about that Boston and to be determined series on Tuesday. Next up in the Eastern Conference, a classic series, And somebody said, hey, we done went back in time because it's 1994 all over again. The Knicks are the number 2 seed. They won in the first round, and now they play the Pacers in the second round. If you're not old enough to remember, Pacers and Knicks had a nice beef. I guess you could call it a rivalry, but when I call it a rivalry, these two gentlemen get on me. So I'll say a nice beef in the 90s. It was Bulls Knicks, Pacers Knicks, where it was at.
I don't know why you take dispelling this. That was a rivalry. I mean,
that was a rivalry.
You had Spike Lee. They kept going back and forth. You had the choke. You had the 10 points in under 2 minutes. I mean, that was actually a rivalry during that time. It was Miami and New York and Indiana and New York.
Okay,
KG,
let me ask you this.
I don't even know why you're denying this, KG.
Let me ask you this.
You of all people would have called this a rivalry.
I did call it a rivalry, but every time I call something a rivalry, y'all get on me. So
no, it's certain stuff you call it. Like Maryland Duke, that's different. Indiana Knicks, yeah.
Okay. We got the Knicks versus the Pacers in this next round. Classic rivalry. What's my man name? Jalen Brunson. Now you talk about evisceration. When he signed in New York, the media, ESPN, Nick Wright, Stephen A. Smith, eviscerated him. Oh, he's not a number one. He's possibly a 2 or a 3. He can never lead this Knicks team. Why did they give him this much money? And old boy showed out all season. In the absence of Julius Randle, he's taken the reins of this team. He's led them to the second round. He led them to the number 2 seed, and now he's led them to the second round. Gentlemen, what do you think about this series?
I think this series is going to be dynamic in in the aspect of you've got some guys that got some revenge in their heart. You know, I don't like him that much, but Obi Toppin, you got some guys that used to play for the Knicks on the other side of the ledger. You have Tyrese Halliburton, you've got Miles Turner, and those guys playing, and then you have on the Knicks side, you got Jalen Brunson, and Brunson is trying to show the world he can do everything and anything, and it was the biggest mistake Dallas ever made because Dallas turned around and ended up paying Kyrie more for the same production and same style of play that they were getting from Jalen Brunson. But I'm happy for the kid. I never thought if you had put a gun to my head and told me that I had to say that Jalen Brunson was going to be this type of player, I'd have just told you go ahead and pull the trigger. Because I never saw this coming, but I like the way he plays his game. And you know what? There's a thing, I forget where it's at, but it's a show where they talk about Jay Wright and the way he begins his practice and how he makes his guys take certain shots, the certain balances and things of that nature that they went through. And when I see it, or when I heard it, I didn't pay attention. But as I watched Brunson, I watched DiFrancesco, and I watched one of my favorite guys, Josh Hart. It's just amazing the way they play, their style of play. And I just think they're one of those teams where chemistry exceeds ability. And I'll leave it at that.
This is and we got 2 more series to get to after this. One, I never thought in my life that I'd be rooting for the Knicks. So, you know, unfortunately, this is one of those things where as much as I say, hey, you know, spread the wealth, the New York Knicks making a deep run in the playoffs is good for not just the NBA, it's good for sports. You know, because the Knicks fans are there. They're showing out. The garden is alive, right? And it's just so good. Like I said, we got 2 other series to get to and other young players to talk about. But you look over on the cloudy side of LA, not the Lakers side, but the side you look over, nobody want to go to, the cloudy side, the Clippers side.
You know, it's like that scene in The Lion King
Yeah.
where they're standing on the
What's
mountain.
that?
Look, the dark, yeah.
What's that over there? Not son, don't go over there. We don't go over there. And unfortunately, that team is going to produce 3 Hall of Famers. And they don't have an ounce of heart on that team. Not an ounce of heart. And then you go over to these young guys, you know, the Jalen Brunsons. Like I said, I won't get into the next one. But just to see him, what's the boy from Indiana? Halliburton. It's just so refreshing because I have said on this show and I have absolutely killed the NBA's product, absolutely destroyed it. And now you see this influx of, like, this is the blood transfusion that the NBA needed. These NBA playoffs, this is what they needed. And to be sitting down in 2024 and getting your snacks and stuff ready for a Pacers Knicks series, that's where it's at. And I personally think the Knicks will dispatch this in 6. I just think the momentum the Knicks have right now and how they're playing as a unit. I think, you know, Indiana's time will come, but right now I think the Knicks in 6. I just love to see this, man. I'm excited for it. And it's just like I said, we got 2 more series to get to. I'm all, you know, ready to go. We still got 2 more series to talk about. Big guy, what you got?
Antonio Boone agrees with you. It will go 6, Knicks 4, Pacers 2. I'm agreeing with you, gentlemen, and I agree with something that you said. 2 things that you said, B, and then I'm done. You said, I never thought in my life I'd ever root for the Knicks. I never thought at any point in my life I would watch the Knicks, but as an adult, as a grown man with a business mind, you know how good it is when the Knicks are winning. You got Knicks playoff basketball and they go deep into the playoffs. It is good. Madison Square Garden is alive. It's electric. All the stars are coming out. It's the same thing in LA. When LA goes on a deep run and Staples Center is alive, it's electric. It's not the Forum, but it's good. It's like when certain teams are winning, the sun shines brighter, the wind's at your back. You know, at night you can see the stars. There's certain things like that. And the Knicks are one of those teams. Boston is the other. The Lakers are the third. When those three teams are winning, those are the three legs of the NBA. Those are three hot bays of three legs. Everybody eats when they win. So, and I agree, Knicks in 6.
Hold
And
on,
I know,
KG.
yes.
Before you go, I heard, you know how teams do whiteouts and blackouts? I heard that in New York they're doing a Tim out. So everybody got with their Tims for game 1 of the series.
Shit, everybody probably only wearing their Tims. Hey,
Can you imagine if the whole Madison Square Garden did that, and every time the Knicks did something, they stomped their feet?
Ooh,
exactly. What?
Oh my!
You might be on to something. You might be on to something.
If I'm on to something, I want credit for it, because it seems like a lot of things come off this show we don't get credit for.
Of course, and they got to be butters though. If they not butters, man, and they can't be, don't lace them up to the top. They got to be butters, and they got to be fresh.
You don't want the low top work, the low top butter work.
No,
with the brown sole.
No, they got to be double sole butters. If they not double sole butters, you can't come in.
Okay, so you don't want the ankle work Tims with the ankle socks?
No. If anything, the only thing we'll accept is Super Tims. But you got to be old enough to wear Super Tims. If you're not old enough, you can't wear Super Tims. That's that.
If they find Super Tims, they on a whole nother level.
What about a Johnson with the patent leather tip for water, the maximum wicking away of water in the front?
They have to be double sole butters. If they're anything other than double sole butters, you cannot come into the garden.
No, because you don't just have one demographic of coming in Madison Square Garden. You have to have Tims that fit. I mean, we got guys coming in there with polos with jerseys on over top of it. That is absolute abomination of work. We have to have Tims to match these people. Ladies and gentlemen, we just can't come in with straight butters. We got to come in with some classic fits, some loafer Tims, the soft bottom joints, some soft bottom around the house joints. They might want to come in them joint, little furry joint, the extra fur at the ankle, the slip-ins with no strings. Come on, man, we got to have options for these people.
Okay, you can't do that. Now, if this was, let's say this was the Wizards in this position, you could have options because you can wear your New Balance or you can wear your Nike boots. That's it. You know, some people are like, oh, well, what about the phone? No, we're not wearing phone paws. That's a new generation thing. Phone paws is a great,
you about to start a whole war. You about to start a whole war, and we don't have time for it. We got to move on. You about to start a whole war.
It's a holy war,
man.
But no, only butters that's double soled. That's it.
Can I say something before we move on to the next series?
What you got?
Jimmy Butler, shut the fuck up.
Here we go. Let's go. Come on.
His statement was, if I was playing, New York and whoever else would be home. Jimmy, shut up.
What?
You barely play.
What?
Every time y'all get somewhere, y'all run out of gas.
What?
It's over. Stop.
What?
Why do they do that? Why can't he just be like, hey, we ain't playing right now, but the playoffs still on fire. Let's go.
What?
Why does it? I used to be a Jimmy Butler fan, but he runs his mouth entirely too much not to have any jewelry.
What?
We don't do the running your mouth on this show and you ain't got no jewelry. The only person is certain people that get exception for that. Barkley, it's a couple people that can run their mouth and don't have any jewelry. And Jimmy Butler ain't one of those people.
What?
Shut up, Jimmy. That's all I got.
Let's see if he would have never left Chicago. But anyway.
Chicago got to want him first.
Yeah.
You can't be with the one you want to be with. Start a new relationship.
Hold on. That regime that got him out of Chicago, that got Derrick Rose out of Chicago, that regime is gone. That was garbage.
Again, that regime was in power when he left.
And I said, fuck them.
That's why he left.
JoJo said, wait, so you got to have jewelry to run your mouth? He absolutely can run his mouth. No, it's an exception to the rule.
It's an exception to the rule, JoJo. It's certain people that can run their mouth without jewelry. Jimmy Butler just ain't one of those people because he's just been running his mouth the last couple of years in Miami with this whole fake gangster vibe. And it's just played out. Until Miami raises a Larry O'Brien trophy, I don't want to hear nothing about Miami because Miami's at the point now where they're still on the cliff, but there's some teams stomping them fingers in the East like, yeah, y'all had y'all chance. And unless y'all retool with somebody else, it ain't gonna work.
This is what's happening in Miami right now. That window's closed. That window is done.
Tobias over me?
Do we want to start this conversation about Tobias?
Hey, they be in the same situation, so they both be home. It don't matter which team they be on.
Tobias over me.
40 mil, and we got 0 points.
Let's look at these Western Conference semis. You got game 1 starting Tuesday with the Mavericks and the Thunder. The Mavericks beat the Clippers, sent them out to Cancun. A lot of people said that Luka Kyrie pairing wouldn't work, and I think it's working pretty well. They beat the Clippers 4-2. What do you guys think about the Mavericks?
I got a question.
Okay.
I was told that there would be a Clipper takeover of the city of LA for the last 5 years, and I'm sorry. Hold on. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it. Everybody told me. I don't know if I was on the show and y'all said it too, but I'm not even gonna put y'all in that conversation. But people told me, the Clippers are taking over LA. And I was like, okay, it hasn't happened. It started with Lob City. It's came back with Paul George and Kawhi. It's just, what are we doing here? What are we doing? I'm just asking questions. That's all I got, man.
You know that joint, the skit on Dave Chappelle, the hater ball. This is the Midnight Rider coming in with his decked down in purple and gold, the purple and gold necklace, the purple and gold fish pump, the cane with all the championships inscribed in it, and he hitting the cane on the table. I want the Clippers. Where the Clippers at? I don't see no Clippers in here.
Let me say this about the Clippers. Charles Barkley had a good analogy. He said, I've been poor, I've been rich, I've been fat, I've been skinny, but the Clippers have always sucked.
There it is.
The Clippers have flashes, and you had 4 bona fide superstars on your team, and you could not beat this Dallas team. Now,
you know what? And I'm glad you said it that way, because you're good at your job, because that's a segue to what I was about to say. There's a difference when you have a team. And I think what Dallas did at the trade deadline made them a better team overall. And what it did was it allowed Kyrie and Luka to figure out. And Kyrie, the one thing that always mystified me is people always put Kyrie in this box. I even did it. When Kyrie was in Cleveland, I thought he was just a shot getter, a bucket taker. He didn't care about the greatness of Rome. He was just worried about getting his. And as he's evolved, I've grown to respect him more and more. And I respect him because when he got here to Dallas, I think he understood what Luka was, what Luka needed, and he decided, hey, let's do what's best for everybody. And I think when they traded for Doritos, Gafford, and they got Blake Lively in the draft, not Blake Lively, but Derek Lively, they made themselves a better team overall because they got some guys to protect the rim. So because Luka and Kyrie can't play great defense, you can erase it with the big fellas on the back end, and then you threw in a couple of shooters, and now when Luka or Kyrie drive, instead of them giving you that panic shot, they actually give you the basketball in a situation where you can actually take a good jump shot. And they just figured out just the way to play. Like the other night, Kyrie had like 2 points in the first half and had 28 at the end of the night. No, he had 36, I think, at the end of the night. And Luka had 28. Because if it was the other way around, I would have hit my bet. So yeah, he had Kyrie had 36.
KG, let's get to some of those comments.
Okay, taking it back to talking about Jimmy Butler. JoJo says Slim has helped taking him to the championships, although Bubble they did in the Eastern Conference Conference Finals, but not a lot of talent. Jimmy B came. Well, Jimmy G stands for gets. That's still he's still that guy, but he got to be quiet.
The G stands for get you to the bubble.
JoJo also said Kyrie knows how to defer. For me, I knew it would work. Antonio Boone says OKC in 6. JoJo says sadly it hasn't happened. Shaking my head, Kawhi's degenerate knee just not working. PG and Harden boo-boo yet again in the playoffs. Yeah.
Playoffs. Talking about Peppermint Patty P?
Yeah. Dallas sure did adding Gafford, who the Midnight Rider calls Doritos. And Dallas plays great team defense, elbows and boxes. Let me say this about the Clippers.
Oh, I think B was about to say something.
No. Go ahead. I'll say my piece afterward. Go ahead, big guy.
I'm gonna say this about the Clippers, and then I'll get to the Mavericks real quick. The Clippers put together something. They had Russ coming off the bench. It was working. Granted, you brung in Harden. You got Paul George. That was to supplant if Kawhi got hurt because you still had 3 stars on the floor. If you couldn't make it work there like that, blow this whole thing up. And it seems that everywhere James Harden goes, they can never quite get over the hump.
But you can.
It's like they go and they stop. It's like a roller coaster going to the top, but they never go down and go through the loops. They just get right at the top, and then they just go right back down. It's like the chain don't catch.
But you can't.
You said you can.
You can't.
No, you can't.
No, what I'm saying is you're telling them to blow this up. The problem is they can't.
Oh, the money. Yeah, because of the money.
No, it's not because of the money. It's because next season, Stephen Ballmer and that stadium is up and running next year. They start in their new building next year. They're no longer there in Staples / crypto / Bitcoin Elemental P Stadium with the Lakers no more. So
well, you know what they could have done.
And you can't go into a new building without a new dream and a new chapter.
Let me tell you something. You know what they could have did? They could have did one or two things. I understand that they wanted to have their own stadium, and that's fine. That is absolutely fine. But with the way they play basketball, they could have moved to Inglewood and cleaned out the Great Western Forum and asked the church, can they use the church basketball court? Because y'all not that exciting. I'm sorry. And here's the thing. I was like, well, the Clippers might be doing it. I was like, let me go out on a limb. Let me see the Clippers go to the finals. They're gonna lose, but let me see them go to the finals. And I was just being, I'm trying to be optimistic. Nah, man. Like, that's the most disappointing series that I've seen this playoffs. Now, as far as the Mavericks go, I love the way they play as a team. And I think if they can make it at least to the Eastern Conference Finals, at least, I think that has to be a big thing for Jason Kidd. Because Jason Kidd does not get the credit he deserves as a head coach. He has not. I loved him in Milwaukee, and I think he should have still been the coach in Milwaukee.
I think NBA coaches have a life cycle of about 3 years, and after those 3 years, they're done. But since we're transitioning to Dallas and OKC, I don't know what Antonio Boone is on today, Normally we don't see eye to eye, but this is another series where I totally agree with them. It's OKC in 6 or 7, and I think their youth will be the difference. The fact that, like, it's small things about basketball that I like, and the fact that they don't do post-game interviews without everybody being there, that says something to me. And maybe I'm just an old man and I'm shaking my fist at the clouds, and maybe I'm just in the moment right there. But it's just something about that situation that I love, and I love that chemistry. And I think we're gonna have a young dog finals in the West. I think it's gonna be OKC with Minnesota, and you're gonna have to figure out. This is where the dogs. I'm telling you right now, KG. I think the dogs are going to come to a point where it's SGA and it's AE, and I don't know what side of that. I'm in the middle, but this is when we're gonna figure it out, and this is how the West is gonna be won. So if this is your Doc Holliday and your Jesse James, I don't know how you want to dictate it, but this is how the West is gonna be won for the next 10 years.
Here's my only thing I would say. I'm not 100% sure about the Mavericks series, because this is where the Mavericks have the advantage. Kyrie has been in big game situations, big shots. All right. Luka, big game situations, big shots. The Thunder still have to get that experience. And this is where the Thunder have to show me that youth can overcome the experience that the Mavericks are bringing to the table. And we've seen it time and time again where the young gunners come in, and then that experience just kind of trumps what the youth can provide. I like this series. I think this series is going to go 7. But I'm gonna lean to the Mavericks. I'm gonna lean to Mavericks in 7. I think Kyrie and Luka, the more the snowball goes down the hill, the more that team is. It's just like you always wait for when you put pieces together for them to gel and come together. And I think just that last 15, 20 games of the season, the Mavericks was stumbling, trying to put it together. And I think it finally is coming together, but I still think they got a ways to go for it to be like just magic. You think it's magic now, but I don't think it's completely all the way there. So the Mavericks.
Is it blue magic? Like, is it like Pepsi? You gonna stand by it?
Is it a brain?
This is, I stand by it.
Ooh.
I stand by it.
We look. I don't know if we can patent that, but if you stand by it, anything from now on, if you stand by it, you got to call it a blue magic stamp.
Yes, I love it. I love it.
The blue magic stamp.
You know what? That's our Charles Barkley guarantee.
Guarantee.
If you guarantee it on the sideline junkies, you got to call it blue magic. You got to call it blue magic.
My blue magic stamp.
Tuesday at 9:30. I'll be able to watch that game.
I think I'll put the blue magic stamp on the Mavs. And listen, I'm sorry, Antonio Boone. I got to go opposite because I think experience beats youth. And it's not OKC's time yet, but OKC's time is coming, and it's coming soon. But those boys are balling. But I got to give it to the Mavs in this series. I'll say the Mavs in 6.
So while y'all are giving, I already said I got OKC in 6, 7. But I'm going to drop a name that you're going to hear this whole series. It's Lou Dort. I actually think Dort is a local kid. I'm going to do some research once we finish the segment. But Dort is a defensive phenomenon. He shut down Brandon Ingram the last series. He made life miserable for him. I think Dort has a chance. He's not going to shut anybody down because you can't shut down Kyrie. Kyrie is one of those few players that you can't shut him down. And you can't shut down Luka because of their patience. But he's going to make it difficult, and he's going to be annoying. So I want to see how this series plays out with him guarding one of those two.
Okay.
Next series, this is going to be a good one. It's already underway. Minnesota leads 1-0. I seen the headline. I think it was on ESPN. Timberwolves stun the Nuggets. What? Nuggets up 1-0 on the. Timberwolves up 1-0 on the Nuggets. Anthony Edwards. Let me look at these stats here.
Can I interrupt you real
Anthony
quick,
Towns,
KG?
20 points.
KG,
Yeah.
can I interrupt you real quick?
Yes.
Because there was a show that some guys did, and they had a topic, right? And the topic was paradigm shift.
Yes.
And they talked about, I don't know who these guys are. I mean, I watch on Facebook. I think they're called the Sideline Junkies. And they did a show talking about a paradigm shift. And right now, we are living the paradigm shift that we talked about. I'm sorry, that they talked about, not we, because I don't want to take credit for it, what they did. Go ahead.
Well, game 1 was yesterday. 43 from Edwards. Conley gave you 14. Reed gave you 16. For the Nuggets, Porter gave you 20. The Joker gave you 32. Murray gave you 17. Here's a question.
And that 43 wasn't on 44 shots. It was on 29 shots, 17 to 29. So,
and Anthony Edwards is going into his bag, and he's doing things. I'm just tired of everybody with the comparisons. They talking about, well, he could be Michael Jordan's son, and he got a lot of Jordan in him. No, he got a lot of Anthony Edwards in him. I've never liked the comparisons of players to other players, where it gets to the point where you saying, "Oh, well, he got." Remember the ESPN commercial with Kobe and Stuart Scott, and Kobe was getting the chips out, and they was like, "C3, very Jordan-esque." Now that was funny, but when you constantly compare players, oh, well, that's a Jordan move. No, it was done before Jordan. It was done after Jordan. These players have a lot of themselves in them. Of course, they're influenced by players they've seen before. Anthony Edwards, he's a dog, and he showed all season long that he can really, really carry this team. I'm loving it. Even Rudy Gobert is staying hidden. He's just playing defense. Like we're not depending on you to score. Just go over there and protect the rim or something.
And I just want to make a point real quick. When we was talking about just how the collapse of the Clippers, it's all since the beginning of basketball. It's only one ball to go around, and when you don't have guys like Rudy Gobert that take his points when he get them, and know his role on the team, when everybody thinks they're the star and everybody wants the ball, and nobody fits into their roles on the team, there's always going to be a set roles on the team. You need somebody to play defense, rebound. You need scores, but you need a pecking order of scores. You know what I'm saying? You need somebody to handle the ball. It's certain things you need on teams, and for whatever reason, and I said, unfortunately, 3 of those guys on the Clippers are going to the Hall of Fame. Russ deserves it, but the other 2, whatever. But they just won't fit into their roles, and I think that the more you see these teams move on, you see teams that have filled their roles on the team to how do I say it?
It's chemistry above ability.
There you go.
It's the simplest way to say it.
There you go.
I said I had this comment. God, you take me back to my days when I was coaching. But I told one of my kids one day, I was like, chemistry over ability. We had a team that I thought we could win 25 games, or the floor would be 16. And we went to the floor because it was chemistry over ability. And I think that's the only reason. And B, I don't know what you're doing today, but you back on Sherman Douglas mode. But that's why I take OKC in 7, because I think their chemistry will win out over Denver's ability.
And that comment was up there before y'all started talking about chemistry. Antonio Boone said chemistry is everything. OKC has it. Everybody on the same page. I'm just not on the page with y'all. And Antonio Boone said the Wolves are throwing 3 7-footers at Joker. He won't sustain in the series, and Ant-Man is him. I agree. He's Himothy.
I mean, Ant-Man is the guy going forward. It's Ant-Man, SGA, and then I don't know what else you want to believe in. I don't want to dictate other people's top 5 or whatever, but those are my top 2.
I think you had to put Brunson in there.
Yeah, Brunson has to be in there.
And then the boy from, I keep forgetting his name, the boy from Indiana.
Halliburton.
I think those are, who you might have another one to round out the top 5, but I mean that's legit the future of the league right there. It might be another name, the boy from Orlando,
Banchero.
Yeah, but this is the new wave of the league. This is the.
But there was a show that did a thing called Paradigm Shift.
There was a show.
This whole thing.
There was a show, and if you go on like YouTube, Facebook, you can catch that show.
All right.
And then there's a certain person that like put TikToks out to let you know when that show's coming on, and calls you out, because you're like, if you watching this, you ain't watched that show. So go back and watch that show. All you do is you gotta click, and then the show. This magic thing happens when you click the link, the show just starts playing, and then you don't have to do nothing else.
But you know what else? If you go to YouTube and click like and subscribe, anytime the show happens, it comes to your phone.
Bing!
Like, boom!
The little drop down come, boom. I be like, oh, I forgot all about that. Let me look at this. That's all.
While we in this, I gotta do something. I gotta give a special shout out because over the weekend, I know I would normally do this and wrap this up, B, but I'm gonna do it now. I gotta give a shout out to my man Jack Clark, the pride of PG County. That guy has been added to our group, and he's done yeoman's work in just getting people to just jump on. I hope you guys, not you people, I don't want to say it that way. You guys are watching. We will get Jack in. We'll make sure we let you know ahead of time when Jack is on. But yeah, Jack is a part of this. We just gotta get him a nickname. Because nobody goes by their real name for reasons we can't disclose. You can't go by your government on the show. So once we get Jack a nickname, I think he's ready to go. I was gonna call him the Pied Piper, but I mean, we know what happens when you call people the Pied Piper.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying?
Nope.
But you can't call him for PP reasons. You can't call him the Pied Piper.
Before we get up out of here, we got to do this. Before B, because I know B got to jump.
I'm sorry.
Anthony Edwards, as a whole, quickly, your thoughts. I mean, we gave our thoughts on Anthony Edwards, but like the guy is he is on a run right now.
Yeah, it's the one thing I do hate with sports talk is, like you said before, the comparisons. Let just enjoy this. Enjoy this shift you're seeing. Enjoy watching him write history. Because I think that's where we are with Anthony Edwards. Enjoy him write history. Enjoy him carving his fork in the road. Not following somebody else's fork. Not going to join a super team. Playing for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Just put that in perspective. The Timberwolves, right? And he's carving his own fork in the road. And I think it'll be even more of a household name after these. This is one series where I contradict myself because I just took the Mavericks because of their experience, and I like the Nuggets. I love how the Nuggets play. They have their team and their chemistry set. Everybody knows their roles on that team, and that's why it works so well. But I'm looking for Anthony Edwards in the West Finals. That's what I'm looking for, and I think that we'll see what the Nuggets come back with. But I think Ant-Man is just I wouldn't be surprised if he's averaging 40 for this semis. It just wouldn't. That's what I see. I see a 40 burger every game, and I'm trying not to drool because this is the NBA I've been waiting for. The somebody to come with their own that want to do it, that don't need somebody to come in and hold their hand on each side as a 3-person super team. Somebody that can be like, nah, I got this. Just give me. I need some pieces here. I need a little help. I got this. Don't worry about it. Y'all get on my back. I'll take y'all to the promised land. I got y'all. I'm gonna lead y'all to the water. Let's go. So,
Yo, I mean, I think this kid was in that movie with Hustle, and he was Kermit or whatever, and he did things in that movie, and I was just like, if he goes over, this kid's gonna be a problem, and he is over. He's a problem. Jamal Murray don't want this work because like he looked at him and was like, "You got me all night," and Anthony Edwards was like, "Yeah." He's like, "This is gonna be special." Anthony Edwards wasn't worried about it. Like he was like, "Okay, whatever." You like it was like, "Oh, all right, whatever, dog." Like I think Jamal Murray wanted him to be like, "Oh yeah, it's gonna be this epic battle." No, dog. You just a pea in the pod, and I'm going to destroy you. And I love the way he plays. If anybody gets to say Mamba mentality, it could be this kid. I'm going to gush over the ability that this kid has, and I don't even want to do this conversation no more. I just know this is the guy. This is him. He is him. You called him Himothy, Himalayans, whatever. Yes.
I'll leave it at that. Let's jump to the state of boxing before we go. Last been going on. We had Canelo Alvarez fought last night, correct?
Yes.
What you got? Because I got my own opinions on boxing, but I don't think nobody wants to hear it. So,
okay, so I'll share mine. I think boxing is at a point where boxing was held up by the legacy, the fallacy, the idiosyncrasies of Floyd Mayweather Jr. And boxing didn't realize that that was the only thing that gave it relevancy. And instead of building and putting things in place to move forward, they didn't, and now they're stuck in this state. The good boxers don't fight the good boxers no more. And the fact that Logan Paul is our best boxing attraction is a travesty. Yeah, we had Devin Haney and Garcia a couple weeks ago, and Haney, the second he got in the fight, peed down his leg. But that's our issue right now. We don't have great fighters standing up against great fighters, and we're not building great fighters. The only way you can build a great fighter is for him to fight a great fighter, and then for us to care. And the problem, everybody wanted to talk. When Floyd was doing his thing, he was a bad guy. He didn't do this. He didn't have this. He wasn't this or that. But the problem is he created a villain, and everybody loves to hate the villain. There are no villains in boxing. There's no one that I care about in boxing right now. And the fact that Canelo is on this thing, Canelo's on the tour. Canelo's just fighting people because he doesn't know who to fight because there's no great fighters out there for him to fight.
I will say this. The Paul brother that's in boxing, that's Jake?
Doesn't matter.
Well, no. What I'm gonna say.
Yeah. It's Jake. I think it's Jake.
What I'm gonna say
Logan's the wrestler.
It's not his fault. And it just tells you how bad the state of boxing was that he could come in and be a force right away. It's not his fault. You can't blame him.
No.
You can't blame him. He's just taking advantage of, and he's fighting. Look, boxer, right? You want to see him fight? Fight. No. You don't do it. Don't you?
I know.
Do it.
You know you about to do. You know you about to do.
Do it. Like I said, it's not his fault.
Bring up Sugar Ray Robinson.
Yeah, don't you do it. It's not his fault that he got catapulted to the top. Like the Midnight Rider said, if you're a boxer fan, you want to see people box. You don't want to see the squabbling back and forth. You don't want to see this. You don't want to see the hands thrown. You don't want to see them throwing big words at each other. When are y'all going to fight? That's all I care about. And then this is what lost a lot of boxer fans. And then you go over to the UFC and the MMA side, they fighting.
But they fighting the important people. That's the difference. The difference is when you build a fight, you're not fighting Joe Bucket that you picked out of the stands and that's a tomato can. You're fighting the guys. And in UFC, no matter what you say about Dana White and how he picks fights and how fights get made, he always puts a fight on the table that the people want. And what's that? I don't know if it's a song, but you got to give the people what they want.
What they want.
That's it. And Matt said it right. Boxing needs the next guy. They need a guy like Prime Tyson. And you know what? The sad thing is, a guy like Prime Tyson wouldn't fight anybody important in this day's boxing because you got Heyman on one side, you got De La Hoya, and then you got some other promotion. And those promotions, for some reason, decide to alienate each other in spite of, you know what? I'll say it this way, because KG will get this. They're the only sport that makes Manfred, the MLB commissioner, look like he's doing a good job.
I got a missed call from Adrian Hernandez. I'll be right back.
I'm gonna say this real quick. Only thing I was gonna say about
we gotta take another missed call from Adrian Hernandez because it's not just one.
Only thing I can say about
CB Buckner just called. You got another missed call.
When it comes to Jake Paul, when it comes to him, you don't want to see him fight. You want to see him get beat. You want to see him get knocked out.
You're spewing from hate.
No. Everybody
no.
says this. That's what you pay to see. But then when he doesn't get knocked out, you pay for the next fight because you want to see him get knocked out.
Exactly.
That's the draw.
Exactly.
That's the draw. He's turned himself into a villain, and you say we ain't got no villain. He is the villain. Only thing is, he's not. I don't think he's sanctioned.
Here's the thing:
a regular boxer. I think he's an exhibition boxer, but he can't go in and win a heavyweight title.
This fight got sanctioned, but going back to what you said, everybody hates the villain, and everybody says wrestling is fake. But everybody using wrestling concepts to make life great, because we got to make America great again. That ain't no regular phrase. That's a wrestling thing. But I'm gonna go ahead and get off of that soapbox.
I'd rather make America rap again.
Well, we're doing that now.
Exactly.
At Drake's expense.
But here's the thing. When it comes to boxing, I agree with Matty Ice. And I agree with Antonio Boone too. The heavyweight division is trash. Deontay Wilder was your guy. Tyson Fury was your guy. Once them two fought and Wilder got dismantled, 3 fights in a row? It's like, Fury getting ready to retire. Remember the Klitschko's dominated for 15 years after Lennox Lewis retired. You don't have an undisputed champion anymore. It's too many divisions. I'm sorry, it's too many belts in each division, which waters down the competition. Then nobody wants to fight anybody. If B said to me right now, we got a chance to make $200 million a piece if you fight me, sign the contract. We can be boys out of it, but that 9 weeks leading up to that fight, I want to rip your head off. This for $200 million. We're gonna put on a show, and we're gonna beat the shit out of each other, and then we're gonna say, "Hey, what you gonna do with your $200 million?" Shit, I don't know what you gonna do with yours.
You know what that is? If you've ever watched cartoons in your life, Wile E. Coyote and that dog used to fight from the time they punched in to the time they punched out, and then when they got off, they would walk home beside each other. And little did I know that I'd be using that cartoon on a sports show as a comparison of competition. But that is exactly what it is. When they clocked in, they weren't boys no more. It wasn't Wile E. Coyote and my boy, whatever the dog's name was, because we don't even know the dog's name.
We do.
Oh, what's the dog's name?
And that wasn't Wile E. Coyote.
Oh, then whoever it was.
That was Frank.
Okay, Frank and come on. I'm sorry. I got a historian here. Come on.
No, it's on my Instagram page. I posted on Instagram the show that it was a difference between each one. Wile E. Coyote has a black nose. The other coyote has a red nose. It's a difference. Don't worry about it.
It's okay.
One of those things.
Come on, help me out.
So when I order the chocolate, I got to order red dye and brown dye now.
Okay. No, seriously. Let's go because this is the thing. It's when you get between the lines, competition matters and competition happens. And when the clock or the bell rings and it's over, you go back to being who you were. Muhammad Ali and Joe Louis, they were the best of friends for a while. Ali messed it up because Ali just talked so bad about Joe that Joe's feelings got hurt.
Joe Frazier.
Yeah. But I mean, the problem boxing has is exactly what you said. They got too many belts, they got too many promotions, and they got too many people that don't have the best interests of boxing in mind. And then probably one of the commissioners is Rob Manfred because he's good at sabotaging good things.
Well, Matty Ice said, Antonio Boone, this is 100% true. Heavyweight division moves the needle in boxing. Matty Ice also said, when Paul has to box Tyson, I think that says all you need to know about the state of boxing today. Agreed.
I'm going to ask you this, and I got to get out of here. Do you think Mike is going to put him over?
Yes.
No.
I think he is.
Yes. I don't think he is.
I think he is because do you know the universal rip that it calls him beating Tyson? Do you know how much that would inject into the sport? I think Mike is going to put him over.
And plus Mike 57. I mean, I love Mike, but the one thing that Mike has always struggled with is athletic adversity. And I'm going to give a shout out to Linnell Willingham because that's his term, but it's athletic adversity. Mike has always struggled when his opponent hasn't just fallen down at his feet.
Here's the thing. This has been rated as if Mike Tyson loses this goes down. This is not an exhibition anymore. This goes down
for their records. Yep.
So you really think Mike Tyson, baddest man on the planet, Hall of Fame boxer, you think he would really take a loss to this young kid that he can destroy?
I just don't think Mike can destroy. I mean, I
don't think it's about that. I think it's about this ain't a young Mike no more. This is a Mike that understands life, that understands that things are bigger than him.
Right.
And we just got finished talking about the sport of boxing dying. Like you having to resuscitate this monthly. What better? Does this hurt Mike's legacy? I don't think it does.
No.
But if Mike takes one, like nobody, this is social media for a month. This is memes for a month, a year, eternity. This is unfortunately the Paul brother going on a tear, and now guess who's going to want to fight him? More important people.
Exactly.
I get that, but here's the thing. You remember that podcast he did, and he was sitting there, he was talking, he was in tears, and he said, "I miss that ferocious warrior. I miss that animal. I miss him, but I don't live life like that no more because I know if I let him out, hell's coming with him." When Paul started talking shit, you unlocked the cage. You talk more shit, the cage door came open. Now here's the problem. Are they going to put that ferocious animal back in the cage? Because it's going to be too tough to put that animal back in the cage. This is not a normal human being we're talking about. This is a man that had dudes beat during the referee's instructions.
Okay.
I mean, how old you are. His hands are still registered as lethal weapons because he can knock people out.
And I think that's the greatness of Rome. We get to see what this is going to play out to be. I mean, they took the restriction off. Now, I think they took the restrictions off so that however this plays out gets legitimacy. So they took off the exhibition handcuffs and put it into a sanctioned boxing event. So now we can't question the outcome. We can't question if Logan Paul wins. Oh, it was just the exhibition. This again, this is a work. We're in the middle of a shoot.
Well, Matty Ice said Mike has to knock him out quick. If he doesn't, he won't last. Antonio Boone said this is WWE and they've all participated. It's fixed.
Yo, A Boone been on the one.
Yeah, he on it.
We normally don't agree on a lot of things, but yeah. Shout out, hey, just for Antonio Boone. Shout out to JT Barrett, the best running back that played quarterback in college football.
Fellas, final thoughts before we get out of here, because I know you guys got to go. So final thoughts before we get out of here.
I want to take a moment, and I got to do this quickly because the dad in me is going to start getting emotional. But today I have to go out to, I think it's Old Hickory Golf Course, and my son is getting a scholarship. He's getting a scholarship, and I don't know how much it is, but he's getting one, and that's at 2:00 today. Then Friday, fellas, prom. I think he has to leave at 6 because they're going to dinner. And I'm telling you, because I know you guys want to come for the send-off. So I'm probably trying to get out there around 3, 4 o'clock. But yeah, my kids got that going on. I'm barely making it through even just saying this. I'm gonna be an emotional wreck for the next month because prom, graduation. It's great to see your kids do great things. Yeah, man.
Big things, man.
I don't know.
Yeah, big things, man. It really is. It's and it's good to be, you sitting there and you went through all that with him, and then it's just good to see that from our end. It's great actually. It's great to see that from our end. So, the only thing I got is that I will be moving from the Tuesday show to the Thursday show starting this week.
You wasn't supposed to say that. That was a surprise, so everybody could tune in.
No, it's not.
My feelings
I actually liking this.
Hold on. Man, my feelings are hurt. So yeah, I'll see you guys on Thursday and not Tuesday. So that's all.
And we might have a surprise for Tuesday nights.
Mike, Matty Ice says enjoy it. Antonio Boone says congrats, Ryder. So, fellas, I done held y'all here hostage long enough here with me.
Man, this is perfect timing for me, man.
We didn't get to what you eating, so we're gonna have to do what you eating.
Let's talk that out real quick because I ain't eating nothing. I don't know what I'm eating today. I think what do I have upstairs? I think I got some frozen chicken, some frozen ground beef. I don't know what I'm eating today.
Yeah, frozen don't sound good because that makes
no. I'll probably take something out before I get started. Or
that sounds like Uber Eats.
Hey, shout out to DC Smoke City. If you haven't tried them yet, I'll give them their plug now. I've had them the last couple of nights. Ribs are on point. When you add the sauce got a nice spice to it. DC City Smokehouse. It might not be. Yeah, it's quality ribs.
Don't worry about it. I'm gonna take you to get some quality ribs.
I already know.
Don't worry about it.
It'd be juices and berries for me today. So,
I may ask the wife to make me some fish today.
Fried fish?
Huh?
Fried fish?
Yeah.
Okay. I think I get out of Woodbridge at 4, so I can be back in the city.
It ain't nothing special. I think I just might get her to make me some fish today.
I could be. Because you in Oxon Hill, so
Matty Ice said part of life is watching your kids become young adults.
That's facts, Mike. Canes play at 4.
Ooh, BLT with chips and dip. Yeah, I might even run to the store, go get some pepperoni. I might do some grilled cheese today too.
I might stop and get some pastrami, thinly sliced.
Where's my hater cane? That's what I need. I need my hater. That's what I'm gonna get me a hater cane. I'm telling you, y'all. It's okay. It's all right, fellas.
What's the hater's name? Is it Buck Nasty?
Yeah,
Buck Nasty.
You gotta do the dance when you do it. When you do Buck Nasty, you gotta do the dance.
Yo, we gotta figure that out, because that's the thing. We can have a Buck Nasty moment on the show. You want to hate somebody?
We had plenty of Buck Nasty moments, and we're gonna have a segment dedicated to it.
Thank you all for joining us this morning. Enjoy your Sunday. Enjoy your Monday. I give you the Blue Magic guarantee. We will be back on Tuesday. For the boss BJ, for the Midnight Rider, I'm the big guy KG. We don't do no overtime, y'all. We are out of here.